Hi, this is 365801 and this is another reviewing male romance video, and this is for Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Not gonna lie, this review is probably gonna be all over the place, even though I did write down bullet points. I have tried to be organised. Anyway, Amazon had a 99p sale on this title, and I had seen this everywhere. I knew everyone had opinions about it, and I thought at some point I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and read this. So for 99p, you can't go wrong. I had also had a wee listen to the Audible sample. The narrator is Joe Jameson. I'd also heard mixed reviews about it, and I have to say the sample did not sell it. But I thought because I was going to give this a wee go, I would try and have a listen to the Audible version too, and if I didn't like it, I could always return it. Turned out it was the right thing to do. So maybe Joe Jameson maybe gets put on the list of ones I will definitely listen to again, maybe every time. Anyway, this is a male romance that was released the 7th of July 2020 at the height of my I have no idea what I was doing in 2020 time period. So I don't know what I was doing or why I didn't read it, but it was suddenly everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And I have to say that with these kind of mixed reviews that I was hearing, and also the fact that it was so popular, I kind of have that I'm a contrary biatch, I'm too cool for school, anything that's popular I'm gonna hate kind of feeling. So I was putting myself off reading it and putting myself off enjoying it. It was almost as though I told myself before I even started, you're going to dislike this. And I have to say that probably Red, White and Royal Blue has a little smidgen to do with that, because everyone goes on about how fantastic that is, and I just thought that was okay. So I kind of went into reading Boyfriend Material ready to hate it. I did not. Damn it. Anyway, a quick summary of the plot for anyone who doesn't know. The story follows Luke, or Lucian O'Donnell, who is a fundraiser for a charity with a very unfortunate acronym. He is the son of a very famous rock star who he has never really met or had any interactions with. He, unfortunately, was photographed in kind of a compromising position, or a little bit of a difficult position that puts him in hot water at his job, and so he needs to have someone as a respectable boyfriend. And who's more respectable than Oliver Blackwood, who is a really quite uptight barrister, but who has also had a bit of a crush on Luke. They have to pretend to be fake boyfriends for publicity and family functions, and of course we all know what happens with fake boyfriends. They turn into real ones. Shh. Now, usually I will talk about the cons and then the pros, but with this one I'm just going to be talking about certain points, and you can decide if it's a pro or a con for you, and kind of my general understanding of it, because for some of the things that I've put as a con, they are actually pros, and sometimes a pro can be thought of as a con. So I'm just going to be talking about certain things that I have picked up on this reading. The first is that it's kind of enemies to lovers. At least there's a lot of fun bickering. It's not quite enemies to lovers, but they have all of these developing feelings, and how they didn't quite get it right, even though they both kind of liked each other. I like that they were ships passing in the night, as it were. They didn't quite always meet up or see eye to eye, but you kind of know they'd be good for each other. So I had the fun bickering that they engage in, even from like the very first meeting. It is a little bit, Pride and Prejudice, oh, not good enough to tempt me kind of moment. And then, of course, you have to go on until they actually have to spend some time with each other. There is a lot of elements to that I love. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about romance when it comes to any story, is that whole getting to know each other, getting to find out that there's more to the person, and actually they might be secretly fancying you, which is always fun. Number 2, the humour at times was very funny, and at times laugh out loud funny. I do think that this was something that I was not expecting. I did not expect to laugh as much as I did. The laughter is a particular kind. It's not like Lily Morton's snarkiness, but there were some things that did make me enjoy the humour a lot. I liked that there was a joke every once in a while, so every few chapters, an actual joke being told to someone who doesn't quite understand it. But I enjoyed and appreciated the joke of it. And with that, we do get the wacky characters. Some of these characters are completely insane. Like, there's no way these characters exist. And then there are characters who you think, why are they included in this? And also, maybe the author has thought far too much about these characters. Like Brian, what purpose does he serve? And yet I feel like I know him. And if you've read it, you're like, yeah, why? What is it with Brian? Like, what's his attitude? Kind of funny anyway. But yes, Luke's co-workers are absolutely insane, but I kind of couldn't hate them. I did at first. I was like, oh god, these are annoying. And yet by the end of it, you're like, I kind of see why they exist. They also do exist to highlight some social aspects or some commentary on the way that society is arranged or that we have to live. And so I do think that they serve a purpose as well as being incredibly ridiculous, zany characters. Now, this next one definitely is a con in terms of the way that I read male romance, and that is that there was no real smuttiness. It was kind of fade to black. When things did heat up, it was like there, but it was so tame. I mean, in terms of the spicy level, why is it not spicy? Like, I want, that whole thing with I was expecting a delivery of love and affection. Where the fuck is it? But, like, there was love and affection. Loads. But I was looking for more, like, butt smacks. We didn't really get it. So if you're a little bit like, no, I don't really need the smut, or I'm not really feeling the smut today, then maybe this is the way to go, because it's very sweet and lovely. And yes, it is very affectionate and loving. And that's what was the surprising thing about it to me. It was not as spicy as I had thought it was going to be. But then the fact that this was such a huge seller, maybe that's why. Another thing that I kind of think is a con, but also kind of funny, was the overly long and pretentious vocabulary. It was like reading an episode of Dawson's Creek, which is funny in itself. So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. A lot of it was done as part of being tongue-in-cheek for the characters, but also it was kind of like, haha, look how much incredibly fancy and convoluted vocabulary I have. Also to do with the fact that some of these sentences were super long and definitely was like internal monologue, like internal monologue diarrhea type thing, like I did not need to know every single element of the thought process of each of these characters, but was kind of entertained at the same time. So it's kind of a con, but also kind of not, which I found disturbing because I really didn't want to enjoy that. But by the halfway through, I was like totally in the groove. That's exactly the kind of style of the writing, and I was there. I was there for it. Now the next one I want to talk about is the Britishisms. As usual, if it's something to do with Britain, there's some Britishisms in there. And I do like references to Britishisms. I personally do. I read a Goodreads review that said that they hated all the British references because they had to look up jokes and things. And I'm like, screw you, I don't care. Honestly, the amount of American culture I have consumed as a non-American, like, I get it, because you know what? I've learned. I've found these things out. If you don't want to enjoy Britishism, if you don't enjoy Britishisms, why are you reading a story set in Britain? Like, duh. Anyway, I enjoyed the Britishisms. Any kind of reference to anything, I'm like, oh, I know that. It makes you feel good. And so I definitely thought they were funny. They were used liberally. Let's put it that way. There was a plethora of Britishisms. So perhaps in that respect, there was a little bit of overkill, but, it was fine. So overall, I have to say that I did want to dislike this. Like, I went in with this view that I was gonna dislike this book. I didn't want to enjoy it. I wanted to come out of it going, yeah, 3-star, boo. But I can't say that. That would be a lie. I really did just devour the whole thing in a matter of hours. And by a matter of hours, I mean specifically 13 hours and 11 minutes, because I was listening to the audiobook version. I switched play and I did not switch off at any point in time for the next 13 hours. Like, I was doing housework, listening to the audiobook. I was making my dinner, listening to the audiobook. I was going to the toilet, listening to the audiobook. I was writing in my journal, listening to the audiobook. I went and had a bath. I was listening to the audiobook. I went to bed, listening to the audiobook. I finished it in the early hours of the morning on the 31st. I started it on the Sunday and Monday morning, I don't know, like 1 or 2 in the morning, I finished it. So yeah, very early hours in the morning. I just let it go the whole time. And if you devour something like that in one sitting, you don't give yourself a break at all. Like, I could have pressed stop at any point. So I can't, with all good conscience, say that I did not enjoy this book. I obviously did. You know, I don't know why I wanted to convince myself. After I'd finished it, I went to sleep and I got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a review of this now. And I started thinking about all the things that I liked about it and things that I didn't like about it. And I started to make a list of the things that I thought were cons. And every time I thought of it as a con, I was like, yeah, but that's kind of the magic of it. That's what made this fun. Like, super long sentences and loads of British references and the fact that it was really sweet and delightful sex scenes rather than smutty and hot. Because hey, that's what Luke actually needed. And I hated that because I enjoyed it. And maybe that's what I need. I don't know. But there was aspects of it that I was trying desperately to convince myself that I didn't like it. And I didn't want to give it the 4 to 5 star rating that I want to give it. And I will actually be giving it. I wanted to give it 3 stars because I was trying to convince myself that that's the rating it deserved. And then what happened? Like, literally a few hours after I finished it, Alexis Hall posted on Instagram that the first 5 chapters, chapter 1 through 5, was available through NetGalley of the sequel Husband Material. So if you were available to, access NetGalley, you could go and read it. I have never pressed a button so fast in my life. I was devouring Husband Material as soon as it got into my phone. By page 2, I was laughing out loud. By page 3, I was cackling. And by page 4, I was fully convinced again that this was a great book and that Boyfriend Material is a great book too. So yeah, there's no way I can't give this a 4 to 5 star rating. So I'm going to go down the middle and say 4.5 stars. I'm sorry, it's just what happened. As much as I want to say no, I did not enjoy Boyfriend Material. I just chuffing did, okay? I just did. I do think that looking back on it, I might end up changing my mind. And between now and I think it's August, when Husband Material is actually released in full, and you better believe that this is now something I'm going to end up having to pick up when it comes out. I might change my mind and go, oh, did I really like it though? Did I really? And I want this review to stand as a testament to the enjoyment that I actually felt for a full day and a half that I was completely consumed by Alexis Hall's Boyfriend Material and the first 5 chapters of Husband Material, which I have to say ended on a moment when I'm like, damn it, I definitely need to buy this second book when it comes out. It's kind of slapstick. It's kind of over the top. It's got characters in it that you're rooting for them. You really are. And then in the next page, you want to push them in the sea for just, like, annoying the fuck out of you. You want Luke to get his shit together, but you also understand why he's so emotional and what kind of issues he's had to deal with. And then, of course, I looked around and saw what a state my own house is in, and I I can't help but actually see parts of myself in him too. And no, my dad is not an aging rock star. And but there are times when I think my mum is insane. So, you know. I'd like an Oliver. I'm kind of an amalgamation of the two. There's bits of Oliver in me and there's bits of Luke in me, and I like that I can see that there's more to them, and so I want to read the next one because I want to see what happens with them. I won't give you any spoilers for Husband Material, just say I loved the first 5 chapters and I will be picking it up. So yeah, I do recommend Boyfriend Material. If anything that I said resonates with you in any way, give it a go. So yeah, thanks for listening to me just randomly go on about this book. If you enjoyed this review, thanks. Give it a thumbs up. I am 365801 and I make videos about male romance, BL manga, yaoi and all that good stuff. Remember, every day is a BL day. I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye!